because I tried a little bit of an experiment uh, to do the live horizontally, and there must be a different setup for that, and that might be something that I'll have to look into down the road at some point. The reason I say that is because um, at some point this channel here is a non-niched, just for fun channel, and so the other channel that I'm considering eventually doing live streams on is a niche down channel, and I would prefer to do horizontal lives and have a different setup. So kind of a learning curve, an interesting learning curve. So I guess in that way, this is a good experiment to see how that works. Um, to know that before I try to get into the other one or the other process and go that route. It also tells me something that I find interesting, and that is that the horizontal lives and the short feed lives are different. They're not the same thing. So it's a different kind of a live. This live seems to me is more geared toward a TikTok like audience. So that's interesting to me, just in and of itself, in that regard, that there is a difference between the two types of lives. Um, so, which is fine with me because, like I said before, the purpose of this channel is just for fun, and it's not niche down. And this live, generally, when I do these, are called a live open forum. So being that it's a different beast, yeah, I guess that's interesting to know that it's not the same kind of a live stream. Even though it does create a video on demand afterward, but that video on demand is going to be vertical, not horizontal. So that's interesting to me. You know, that being said, on this end of the spectrum, there's not the other. Man, I just got off of a TikTok live, and I was on there for about 2.5 hours, and that was loads of fun. But I've got a large audience over there that I don't have here yet, and so this will take time to kind of get going, and we'll see what happens. I just ate 3,400 calories today. You think I'm going to gain any kind of fat from it? I'm eating 2,200 calories a day since this is my maintenance. Uh, I don't know. I guess it depends on what you normally eat on a daily basis. I would say that 3,400 calories seems like a lot to me, but I don't even know what my daily calorie intake is, to be honest with you. I know you can probably scarf down a burger at McDonald's and take in 15 to 1,700 calories just off of that alone. So I'm not sure. Uh, I'm not sure how that would translate. Hello to Ashton. How you doing? Yeah, I'm not sure what the answer to that question is. But hey, thanks for asking the question. That's what these open forums are about. I didn't call this one live open forum because I actually started it out doing a little bit of test to try to do it horizontally, but as soon as I tried to do it horizontally, it told me to turn my camera vertical. So my assumption is that the vertical live streams and the horizontal live streams are not the same thing, which is good for me to know, because if I ever decide to do a live stream on my other channel, which is more niche down, I'm going to want to do those differently. I'm not going to want to do those in a vertical. I may want to do them in a vertical way. I haven't decided yet. We'll see what happens. Hello to Braden. How you doing? The Bacon King burger from Burger King size was. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that 100%. Yeah, there's a lot of calories in just a single burger. Even a salad. If you try to go healthy and eat a salad, it's going to be loaded with sodium and it's going to be loaded with calories. After you add in all the other stuff, the dressing and the cheese and the croutons and all that stuff, it just shoots way up in calories. So it's hard to go out to eat and get a healthy alternative. But who wants to eat a salad that is just lettuce? I wouldn't. Yeah, the dressings and all the other stuff that you put in a salad. And to be honest with you, that's the only reason I would eat a salad. I don't want a salad that's bland and has no flavor. I want all the flavor, even if it means I'm going to have to take in the calories and probably make a healthy salad into something that's not so healthy. But that would be my preference. Just a note to anybody who's popping in right now. Normally I do these. I don't really have a set time so far, but I started doing them. I've been doing them on TikTok for a very long time, and they're quite successful there. So I thought I would try it here. I call it a live open forum. I didn't call this one a live open forum because I was doing an experiment. But it's generally open to somebody has a fun question, silly question, serious question. Because this channel isn't niche down at all. It's a just for fun channel. I like to do that and engage in conversation and that sort of thing. So I didn't think twice. I just ate 3 tacos and 2 slices of apple pie for dinner. Yeah, you could do that easily. I went to when I was still working. I traveled a lot for business, so I'd spend a lot of time in hotels. And I went to Arby's on one of my travels, and I was getting a monster roast beef. It was the biggest one they got. It might have been the mid level one. Either way, it was a lot of beef, and I thought, well, I'll buy a second one because the company's paying for it anyway, and I'll have the second one for lunch when I'm running around the next day. And it turned out that I decided to eat it the same night, and as I was sitting in the hotel. And I think I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I did not feel good. It was not it was not a good experience. I did not enjoy that, so I never did that again. But yeah, and I had lots of horsey sauce on it and the whole bit. So yeah, that was something interesting. Yeah, I definitely got something. Uh, yeah, probably not what I bargained for, but yeah, I definitely got something, and it didn't turn out well for me. So, what seemed like a good idea at the time turned out to be a not so good idea in the end. So, yeah, good as heck, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I may or may not spend a lot of time on this one. Like I said, I just came on sort of. I wanted to do an experiment to see if you could do a horizontal positioned live and it would still work the same way, and discovered that they are apparently two different things. So I guess that is what it is. Whereas it's sort of in a way, a weird thing to me because this is, if this is the way that it is exactly like TikTok on the short feeds to do them this way. So, no, uh, I started last week doing these on YouTube, um, and so I've done 5 so far of, I guess 6 if you want to count um, the redo or whatever the experimental ones, and 7 if you count this one. So I'm kind of working my way or learning my way on the YouTube side, but I've been doing the live streaming for a long time on the TikTok side. Um, I like the YouTube platform better overall, and I like the fact that it does create a video on demand. That's useful in a couple of different ways, and so I thought it'd be fun to try it here. And so far, it's a mixed bag. I'm not sure what I think yet. Obviously, I don't have the audience here that I have on TikTok, so it's a work in progress. Getting people to engage is difficult when they don't know who you are and they don't know what it's about. But as time goes on and as I do more of these, I think people will kind of get a feel for who I am, what I'm about, what these live streams are about, and they'll do better than they are currently. So I'm a patient man. I can, it was hard starting out on TikTok. It's hard starting out on YouTube. It's hard starting channels on YouTube. It's a work in progress. So you just keep at it. You keep doing it, and eventually something clicks, and or it doesn't. And either way, it's okay. Uh, yeah. Well, there may be something to that because I wouldn't say I'm a public figure, but I have been on the internet for a very long time in multiple capacities. So I've done, I've had YouTube channels, blogs. So yeah, I've been around for a while. Maybe just not here. That may be why. Maybe you're familiar with me on TikTok if you go there. Maybe it's from Reels. Could be any one of those things. Um, so that may be why. Um, and on this channel specifically, I haven't talked much about my other things. I mean, I talk sometimes about them. Um, there's no particular reason, I guess. There's nothing I have to hide. Um, Topics that I talk about on the springboard, for example, may be topics that come up on this channel during these lives. And I have no issues or qualms with that being the case because, again, this is a non-niched, just for fun channel. So it can be any number of things and based on any number of topics. So my doom scroll YouTube live streams, checking to see what the world is doing. So that's probably why. Yeah, and it may be that you caught me on a live stream, or if not on a live stream, perhaps maybe one of my shorts. It's possible you could have caught me on one of my shorts because the live streams I've only been doing for about a week. So the live stream part of it I haven't been doing very long at all. So, and I know if you're in the short speeds, that's where these live streams are. And so it's very possible that when you were scrolling, maybe you saw one of my YouTube shorts. So they don't get a lot of views. They're just goofy ones that I put on this channel, but they get enough. Sometimes anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 views, and those views seem to be going up a little bit more and more. So the more I do them. So at least on the shorts side, I think YouTube is kind of getting a feel for the audience for those. So, but I also do shorts on my other channel as well. So it's possible that you could have seen me there as well. This is a long answer, wasn't it? And again, if you're on TikTok, yeah, I'm on there quite a bit. So on live streams. And like I said, those could go sometimes for 2 hours. These could at some point, if they get to a point where they are getting the same kind of response as I get on TikTok, once I've built up enough of an audience on YouTube for them, then they could easily go on for that long. And I kind of hope that they do at some point because they're so fun to do that I would like it to translate well to YouTube, but I guess that's to be seen. Used to stream on another YouTube channel back in 2023 and catch an average of late hundreds to early 200s at average. Yeah, you're talking views or people watching at one time. So far for me, I mean, I don't have a lot of people that stay watching for a long time. And I haven't had a lot of people that I've recognized come back. So again, it's only been a week. So my assumption is that eventually that will pick up a little bit, but it does take time. Play the guitar in the live. Yeah. It's funny about that because this channel is, I guess you could call it my artist channel. It was my personal channel prior to me releasing some music, which then got correlated into this channel. And so there are, you know, several videos I've got, and most of them are just me goofing around playing guitar, but aside from the actual released music. But I was doing a TikTok live, and that particular day there was not much activity going on, so I said, well, maybe I'll just play my guitar for a little while. I picked up my guitar, went back to shut the live off, and all of a sudden the room was full, and everybody's like, hey, and they noticed the guitar, and next thing you know, I played various things for, you know, a little while, and it actually was a very good live feed, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. So I've thought about doing something like that here. The problem is copyright strikes. On TikTok, you don't have to worry about the copyright strikes when you're doing a live stream, but because YouTube makes a video on demand after the video or after the live is done, you would be copyright struck, whatever the word would be, on YouTube. So it would probably not be as good an idea to do here, but you know, I guess it would all depend. And then it would depend too on how much of a song I played, or, you know, whether or not I guess it was a band or whatever that would be concerned about their music being aired in any way. So I think that matters as well in that regard. But it would be a lot of fun to do if you could do it. If I could do it, bring my guitar on here and not have to worry about a, you know, copyright strike. I would do that in a heartbeat. That would be a lot of fun. But YouTube has different sets of rules. You may not get copyright strikes on the lives, but you certainly would get copyright strikes on the video on demand that would come afterward. Hey, Mimi. You know, I was just saying that I hadn't seen anybody that was in my live before come back, and you just corrected me, so welcome back. I came on to experiment. I thought I would try to put the phone horizontal and see if it would let me do it. And I guess my answer was no, it would not. And so I put it back vertical again, and it allowed me to do a live stream. So I kind of came back in an experimental, with an experimental intent. But if I have any interaction at all on here, I'll keep going. So makes it fun for me. I just got off of a TikTok live. I was on there for 2.5 hours, and I mean, the room was thumping, as they say. But I have a lot more of an audience built up over at TikTok than I do here, being that I just started doing these here. So, but I thought, why not try to translate it to YouTube and do the same thing here and see if it has the same appeal here as it does there. That is to be seen so far. But yeah, welcome back. I like to see familiar faces popping in to any lives, whether they be here or anywhere else that I might do them. So I always appreciate that. I wish I had more things to talk about. Like I said, I came on here more just to kind of experiment around, and but so long as there's any interaction or any viewers at all, then it's worth me sticking around for a little bit and seeing what happens. So there's been many times where I've been doing a TikTok live, and TikTok, it's touch and go. I mean, you do have your core audience, and you've got your core viewers and whatnot, and they'll find you when you go on live. But some days it's still touch and go. And the funny thing to me is that I could be on for 15 minutes, and then I'll decide, well, nothing going on here. I'll kick off and maybe try again in an hour and see if anybody else is on. And then as soon as you're ready to click out, that's when everybody shows up. So, and then you're on there for 2.5 hours. Why am I live? In general or just now? I guess. In general, I'm on live because I just have fun with it. Um, I like engaging with people. I like hearing other people's perspectives. And I like sharing my thoughts and ideas. And so live is a fun way for me to interact with people in a way that maybe I wouldn't always have the opportunity to do, and to meet a lot more people than I might be able to meet outside. So that's generally the reason that I do them, and they're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun. Like I say, when I do them on TikTok, they're a lot of fun. I have a blast with them, and they're obviously more fun when you have a lot of interaction going on and whatnot. But yeah, now you said, yeah. As far as now, I came on basically to experiment around. I was curious if I was able to do a horizontal that would leave me a horizontal VOD. But apparently on this particular streaming, where it's pushing them into the short speeds, the horizontals and the vertical lives are different apparently. So it doesn't let me do a horizontal during the live stream here on this, doing it this way. So I was kind of curious about how that worked. I got my answer right away because as soon as I tried to go live, it told me to turn my camera around. So I got my answer right away. I didn't have to wait. Back in 2023, when I used to live stream with me playing the guitar, it was for me to reach my skills out there. That's a good idea to do it that way. You can get a lot of interaction from people and good pointers and advice. I was actually talking about that earlier today a little bit. Guitar actually came up in my last live feed as well, or live stream as well. And one of the things I mentioned is how much the internet has changed the way we learn, and that goes for pretty much anything. When I was coming of age, so to speak, we didn't have the internet. So, when you wanted to learn guitar, you had to pick up a book, and then you had to listen to the music, and then you had to figure all that out. Whereas now you can just say, hey, I want to learn how to play this song by Metallica. Boom, there's 10,000 videos that'll show you how to play the song. So yeah, I mean, that could be a very good way to get feedback from other people about your playing and about things that you can do to improve, or different techniques you can use, or different tips or tricks you can use to get better at it. The other thing too, you say live streams did influence your skills. They also help in other ways too, because it gets you more comfortable, especially if from a YouTube perspective, in by itself. If you're wanting to be a creator, and if you're wanting to make videos, and you're wanting to feel comfortable talking to a camera or to a phone in this case, you want to be able to be more fluent, or not fluent maybe, but more fluid in your delivery, be more natural, have less pauses, ums and ahs and stuff like that. Lives are a good way to do that. Lives are a good way to develop those skills as well. Especially when you're in a situation where there's nobody watching. And all is that even if nobody's watching, it's going to create a video on demand, and you're going to have a video. You ought to do something and make something in the video, at least, so if somebody finds it after the live stream is ended, even if nobody was watching the live stream while you were doing it, there's some content there for people to take in. So not necessarily, I'm not a YouTube guru, but there are some things about that I'm sure will come up in these lives at some point. Yeah, by the way, you said you play the guitar. Yeah, I mean, I've got a lot of videos I don't have a lot of videos, but I've got videos on here where I'm playing the guitar. I've got a couple of different ones. I've got my Martin acoustic. I've got an Ibanez acoustic. There's another Ibanez electric. I've got my bass guitar. So yeah, I've got a couple of guitars around here, and but yeah, I mean, I can go grab it, bring it out. I probably can't play anything on it only because, like I said, I'll get a copyright strike unless I do something generic on it. But yeah, those are the Gibsons are nice. I like the Gibsons. I've actually got my eye on a um, uh, well, the Rickenbackers are nice. I like those. But oh shoot! Now all of a sudden, Gretsch. I want to get a Gretsch. Um, had my eye on a Gretsch for a while. My wife always says, just buy one. It's not like I can't afford one, but because I'm not a professional musician, and I've got so many guitars now, uh, it's hard for me sometimes to justify it, even if it's something I want. Um, but I've got my eye on one, and maybe at some point I'll get one. But I do like the Gibsons too. I had a Gibson a while back, but I got rid of it, and I liked it. And I didn't get rid of it for any particular reason other than I just decided I had a couple extra guitars too many, and it was time to kind of let one go, and I picked that one. So, do I have a PS5? Because then you can play Madden with me. It's a football game. Yeah, I don't. I don't have a PS5, and I don't really do gaming at all. Gaming has just never been one of my interests. Back in the day, I had a PS1 for a little while, and then when we were kids, we had in television. But I never really got into gaming. Um, I did more when I was a kid, but of course, gaming then was so different. If your buddy had an Atari or something like that, that was golden. But most of the time when we were gaming, we were gaming in arcades, dropping quarters in the video game machines, and playing them there. It's a very different world when it comes to gaming these days. Some people do the gaming for a living, which is something that completely fascinates me. That's even a thing, but I guess it's like watching sports. If that's something somebody enjoys to watch, they'll watch. But very affordable but great sound. Yes, yeah. And that's the thing. You really don't need to spend a lot of money on a guitar to get a guitar that sounds halfway decent. And sometimes it depends on. There's a lot of different factors that go into how a guitar sounds, and it's even same guitar model to um, same guitar model. It depends on what gauge strings I've put on it, or if I've decided to put bronze strings on an acoustic instead of steel strings on an acoustic, or all those things come into play. And then tones can be different based on if you've got a different configuration on your guitar. Maybe you made a particular adjustment on your truss rod or something like that, and it could change the way that your guitar sounds as opposed to someone else's. All different factors go into that. But you don't have to spend a lot of money on a guitar to get one that sounds halfway decent, that's for sure. Um, Video games doesn't give you a skill that could last for more than 10 years. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, for me, gaming, the way I view gaming, it'd be a great pastime. And again, some people may be able to make a living doing it if there's an audience that they have. Um, but you're right. I mean, even the most popular gamer 10 years from now, somebody else is going to come in his place and be the most popular gamer, and he's going to fall out of fashion, whether it be because the game that he plays is no longer as popular, or maybe somebody just does it in a more interesting way and then they fall out of favor. So a lot of factors go into that. Music can be the same way. You listen to a certain artist for a while, and then you kind of get tired of that artist. You've heard all their music, and okay, well, and you move on to somebody new. Um, you know, only me saying that. Yeah, right. That makes perfect sense to me. You know, it's even YouTube is an example of that as well. YouTube is actually a very good example of that, where there are YouTubers that have a good number of followers that after a certain period of time don't get as many views, and it's just because there's new guys that come around on the block and they offer something different in a unique or different way. Um, so yeah, it comes and goes in cycles. It's um, it's part of the reason that I say to anybody who does any kind of social media and gets paid for it, if you're doing YouTube and you're making money from AdSense or even other sources, this is a little bit different for people who turn their YouTube channels into businesses that have more lastability. But if you're doing anything and you're making money from YouTube or Instagram or Facebook or Reels or whatever it may be that you're making that extra money from a social media perspective or online, hold on to as much of that money as you possibly can and treat it as though it's money that won't be there forever, and put it somewhere. Learn to invest it. Put it somewhere where it's going to grow and it's going to provide a payday for you forever. And then if for some reason the gravy train ends and goes away, you still got something to fall back on. I mean, I used to piddle around on a site called Bubloos years and years and years ago, and they paid you pretty good on there to piddle around. I made a little bit of money. I still have the money that I made because I always saw my online income as something that would not last forever, and I wanted to make it something that would last forever. So, Bubloos technically still pays me, even though the site went out of business 10 plus years ago, or whatever the number is. I've been playing the guitar since I was 13, and I am 52 now. So, whatever the math is on that, I'm terrible at math. But yeah, I started when I was 13, and I'm 52 now. And I still consider myself an intermediate player. I don't consider myself a professional player at all. Some of my friends and family disagree with me on that, but we're all much more critical toward ourselves than others are sometimes toward us, depending on who they are and what their motivations are, of course. Yeah, I do well enough. I mean, I do well enough. I mean, I wouldn't, like I say, call myself a stellar player. I'm not a shredder or nothing like that. But I can do well enough that I can play a song that somebody can recognize. Even if I'm not playing the song 100%, correctly, or when I play guitar, because I also write music. I like to bring my own personality into the song and my own flavor into the style and things like that. So I'm less of an emulator and more of a person who I like to make a song my own. And I think when I do that, it personalizes the song more. Now, if I was a guy who was doing, gigs, yeah, I would want to play the song 100% accurately because you're playing to a different audience. But anything you made that maybe you could show, so no copyright? I'd have to think of something off the top of my head. I'm not sure. Why does that tell me I need to charge my phone? Because my phone is on the charger as we speak. That's weird. Unless it just all of a sudden, but it was telling me that my battery was going dead on my phone. I have it on the charger because I lost power when I was doing something else. Don't even know if this thing is even tuned up. So I haven't picked it up in a couple of days, and plus, I haven't clipped my fingernails in a couple of days. So usually when I play my guitar at all, I make sure my fingernails are clipped down, because otherwise it gets in the way of the fretting. But just generic stuff. I don't have my strap on this either. Kind of off the cuff, but nothing fancy. But, just basic chords, basic stuff. I don't know. I can't think of anything that I could do that would be, that would not get me in trouble with a copyright strike. So I don't know. I mean, almost anything you do is going to give me a copyright strike, I would think. Like I said, I did bring my guitar onto one of my TikTok lives. They don't ding you over there for that stuff. But again, it doesn't leave a video on demand afterward either. And again, I don't think it'd be a problem on the live stream, but it would be a problem on the video on demand. It would run it through the system, and all of a sudden, you'd have a copyright strike of some sort. So that would be my guess anyway. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it would work. And even a lot of the songs that I've written over the years, like if you go into my Pink Flamingos album, these are songs that I wrote 20 years ago. And even on those, and it's a weird thing, and it's funny, we're talking about copyright strikes, and we're talking about original music to some extent to avoid a copyright strike, right? So I actually published a video of my own song that I published through TuneCore, and I got a copyright strike on my own song. And I even appealed it, and I still had to maintain the copyright strike on that particular video, which was interesting to me. I'm like, it's my song. I wrote the song, and I published the song, but I couldn't get them to take the copyright strike off. Yeah, this is a Martin acoustic, and this particular one is Custom X. It's a Custom X guitar. I don't know if you can see that. Custom X series guitar. So it's not top of the line. This guitar is probably run you about $500. $500 to $750 new. But it's a good guitar. I love this guitar. I got this guitar actually for Christmas. My wife and nephews and everybody got together and got me a guitar, and so I was very happy about that. And it's a great sounding guitar. I had my pick the wrong way, but it's a great sounding guitar. And I actually haven't changed strings on this. They've gone longer than I normally go. So it probably is due for a string change, but again, because I'm not a professional musician, I don't change strings probably as often as somebody would change them if they were doing it professionally. I know a lot of bands, even before a concert, they'll have their luthiers change strings before every concert sometimes. So it just depends. I'm going to tell you, I see a lot of people on YouTube that play songs, but that already exist, and they are doing good. Live streamers, by the way. You can play existing songs on the guitar during a YouTube live stream without backing music. Huh. Definitely something I'll look into. I could try it at some point. And then worst case scenario, it's going to tell me if I've got a copyright strike or not when the video on demand is put up. And either I could clip that out so I could avoid the copyright strike, or I could just delete the whole video. I mean, I like to keep the video on demand, the videos that are produced on demand up, but to experiment around, I guess it wouldn't it wouldn't really matter, right? It might be something for me to experiment around with because I would enjoy doing that. I think that'd be a lot of fun, especially considering this channel not being niched down, but there is a lot of my musical things that I do on this channel, so it would be a logical um, thing to do on here. And like I said, I think it does depend on who is going to be the one to enforce whatever. Like if I just did a very simple riff, you know, would it pick that up? Like would it pick that up and say, "Oh, that's a Smokey Robinson song," or, no, well, Smokey Robinson was in the band. I don't remember I'm not coming to me right away what that band was called, but would it pick that up and say, "Oh, he played that part of that song. Let's strike that." I don't know. I think it is more of other platforms being more chill and some being more strict. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Yep, I agree with you on that. And like I said too, it may be a process of, or I shouldn't say process, but it might be just the fact that it is producing a video on demand after the fact on YouTube, and so therefore then there's a video that lives forever, and unless you delete it. Whereas on TikTok, if I do a live stream, there's no video left behind. I get a video that I can look at for 30 days and download if I want to and put it somewhere else, or chop it up and put bits and pieces on my TikTok profile page. But as far as it living forever as a complete video, it doesn't do that. You can't find it after the live stream is ended unless I physically put it out there. You're good, man. These live streams with 2,000 viewers in it, people playing songs on guitar are chilling at most. They do it on average. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm gonna take your advice. Like I said, worst case scenario, I try it once, it doesn't work, or I get copyright strike put on my video, and I take the video down, and that might be a good little experiment to do. I'd be curious. Because again, that would be a lot of fun. I actually have a video that I still can download from a live stream that I did on TikTok with the guitar in it. And I've thought a couple of times as well, maybe I'll just throw that up as a video on YouTube on this channel. But then I thought, well, because it's got copyrighted music, like John Denver stuff and stuff from the Eagles and whatever, that it probably would get copyright strike put on it, and then I'd be in trouble. And we're like, yeah, and that may be part of it, because I did a version of the Jimmy Buffett song during COVID. I took Margaritaville and turned it into Coronavirusville, and I put that on my YouTube channel. But when I did that, I did it more like a full studio production. So I took all the parts, put it into my my digital audio workstation and my recording software, and actually produced a master, and uploaded that with a video attached to it, and that got copyright struck. So, and I left that one up. I think it's still up. I may have taken it down, but because I didn't, if you've got one or two copyright strikes, you're not going to get necessarily kicked off of YouTube. But if you've got a lot of them, yeah, that might be a problem. So as long as it's only one, what do I care? I think I left it up, but that one for sure, and that was a full. But now I've done another one where it was Riptide. And that didn't get copyright struck. And that was just me playing the guitar. And I did that as a video. And I believe I left that up too. So just playing the guitar is totally fine. That's good to know. That's absolutely good to know. That makes me kind of intrigued, actually, if that's the case, because I'd love to do it. I mean, besides the fact that if I'm not playing the song exactly the way it's supposed to be played, um, then how is it gonna copyright strike me, right? Like I'm trying to think of the there's a song. I don't remember it actually. I was trying to think of one that probably wouldn't get struck. I can't think of it. The chords of it. I know what chords are in it. I just can't remember the sequence of them. I think it's something like that. Matter of fact, I think that is. It's A minor, C, and then F major, 7. But that is what is that song called? It's a Coldplay song. Don't Panic. Is that right? I think that's Don't Panic. I'm terrible at remembering the names of songs sometimes, especially if they're songs that I haven't played in a very long time. It's one of those things that they come back to you. You piddle around on the guitar long enough, and you remember where you went, because you learn so many different songs. You got to just kind of remember, what was it? Was it a 1-4-5, or was it a 1-3-6, or was it a you got to remember those things. Yeah, this is I appreciate that. This is for a guitar that is not that expensive. I love it. Like I said, this is a great guitar. The D series are much more expensive, but I've played a D series, and playing it next to this one, it's a good guitar. That actually reminds me of that's different chords. That's a CM7 and a DM7, but it reminds me of oh, that's the wrong one. What is that? That's and I got my fingernails in the way here, just making it harder for me to. Why did I hit that bad again? See, I don't have my strap, and I keep on propping it up. It's reminding me of something. When I did that other one, it was reminding me of something, and now I don't remember what it is. But that's something I'm going to definitely keep in mind. So that was helpful to me, at least if I know that maybe I can get away with something. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a different flavor of a live stream that would fit more in line with a lot of the things that I do on this unniched and just for fun channels. So thank you for that. I'll definitely look into that. Yeah, it's I'm pretty sure that was "Don't Panic" by Coldplay. Uh, and that's a fun song to play. It's an easy song to play. Basically, it is. I remember the chords again. There are different chords in it, but I still got to put this damn phone on airplane mode at some point. But yeah, it's an A minor, and then it's a C, and then it's an FM7. So it's played. It's not played like a barred F, where you would play it up here like this, or sometimes you would play an F down here like that. It's basically first finger on the first fret, B string, and then second finger on the third fret, or I'm sorry, the second fret on the G string, and then you've got the next two strings up like that, and that's the way that chord is played. But that's a fun song to play too. I used to like Coldplay more when Coldplay was, first starting out. They've changed their style quite a bit in the last few albums, and I kind of lost interest in them a little bit when they got more poppy. Yeah, "Don't Panic." It's a good song. I believe that was off their Parachutes album. Um, I could be wrong. I think it's on the same album that Yellow was on. So and that's there a lot of those older Coldplay songs are a lot of fun to play. Uh, yeah, that's a good idea. Even if you make a video, you have to send it to me. I was trying to think of uh, what was that other? It's got the same chords in it. Um, well, I'll get myself in trouble at some point until I know for sure if I can get away with stuff. But even if I tried a small, that I'd have to sit down for because I'm getting all tangled up here. My fingernails will probably get in the way too. Yep, my fingernails are getting in the way. I gotta clip these fingernails. Definitely before I pick up a guitar, usually if I intend to pick up a guitar, but you caught me off guard, I clip those fingernails and keep my fingernails short so they don't get in the way of all the things you need to be doing on the fretting hand. Can't press the strings down as far because you get tangled up in the fret or the neck and all that stuff. So usually there's sometimes a little bit of a process. Make sure the guitar is tuned up. I'm not even sure if I'm in tune. Make sure my fingernails are nice and clipped. Every once in a while, if I've been doing there was something I was doing a few months ago, and I had played a little bit for my family, and I was doing finger style stuff, and so I had my fingernails clipped on this side in a way that I could grasp the strings. Because I like to use my fingernails. Gives me a little bit of a sharper sound than just using the pads of my fingers. And so, what the hell's wrong with your nails? What's going on here? Because this side is clipped real nice. This side's like little triangles. What the hell's the matter with you? I'm like, no, I was playing fingerstyle guitar and I used my fingernails to pluck the strings. So, the little things that people who play guitar have to deal with. Let's see. Hello, hey, welcome back, Noah. How you doing? I recognize you from a previous live stream that I was doing. Okay, I know how to play that too. Oh, you're talking about "Come As You Are." You know how to play that one? My first songs I learned how to play surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about "Come As You Are," yeah, it's a very basic thing. The only thing that's tough, and that's probably more so for a new guitarist. Oh man, trying to hold onto my guitar and not drop it on the floor and be able to prop it and if I can do anything with it. But it's. I mean, all you're really using is just the low E string, and it's a lot of open notes. So it's that and then the open A string. So I mean that's all it really is. That's all on the E string. And then the other part, that's adding and combining the A string with the E string. Um, Sometimes what's hard for some people on that one is getting the rhythm right. It's hard to sing with that. It would take me a little bit of practice to be able to sing it with it because you got to get a groove in there. And I haven't played it in so long that I would have to practice it. But as far as the riff itself, it's a pretty simple riff. I know if I show that riff, even a simple riff like that to somebody who's never touched a guitar before and they're trying to learn, is, oh my God, how do you figure that's simple? Well, some things really are simple, even if they seem like they're hard. Now you know how to play "Don't Panic." Good, yeah, that's a great song. I like I said, I love that song. It's a great song. One of my favorites of many from Coldplay. Again, my fingernails are going to get in the way because you caught me off guard and told me to bring this out, and I didn't intend on it, but it's just that and that F. And I'm trying to remember but the chorus. I know it changes into a D minor. I'd have to play it to remember what the actual chords are, but obviously A minor, C, and F major 7 on the main verses, and then shoots into a D minor, probably goes to a C, back to an A minor on the chorus. But yeah, very fun song to play, a good song to play. Lithium. It actually is. Yeah, Lithium is a fairly easy song to play. A lot of stuff from Nirvana is. There are some that are more complicated, and that's not to take anything away from Kurt Cobain. I think he is highly underrated as a guitarist. I just do, and so he always got kind of accused of being sort of a sloppy guitarist, but you listen to his melodies and you listen to the way he played, and yeah, I would give Kurt Cobain high marks when it comes to guitar, for sure. My favorite song is "In Bright Lights." Is that a Coldplay album? It might be one of their new ones. I was just saying earlier that I know um, they changed their style a little bit, and so Coldplay kind of fell out of favor for me personally. But I think that might be what you're referring to. And now my usually I try to keep my fingernails a little shorter anyway, but be kind of inappropriate to clip my fingernails on a live stream. But now that you've brought that up, that definitely makes me want to consider trying a live stream anyway with the guitar. Um, I think that would be a lot of fun. So definitely something I'm gonna think about. This live stream. See, this is why I do these because I only intended on being here maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and here I am almost an hour on here. Even if there's only two people that are here, it still makes it worth it for me to spend my time and be here. Very enjoyable conversation, very enjoyable live, and so I find that to be a lot of fun, and gives me incentive to keep on coming back on here even if it was just a few eyeballs. So I appreciate that. And I was saying earlier that I haven't seen many repeat visitors, at least on my YouTube lives. I have seen obviously lots on my TikToks, but Noah proved me wrong on that one. So I appreciate him coming around and, so do I have any more of those? More of those guitars, or what are you referring to? Um, I don't know if you're referring to songs or um, guitars, or I missed a comment somewhere. Hey, I appreciate that. Yukitaro, is that your name, Yukitaro? I wonder, is that a is Yukitaro? Is that a reference to the Yukatar, which is a it's an instrument? A lot of people don't know about a Yukataro, but it is actually a Yukatar, I should say. It's a combination of a ukulele and a guitar together. Um, a lot of people don't know that, but they actually are an instrument that does exist. I can't play it. I probably could if I picked it up and learned it, but even the ukulele is tuned differently um, than a guitar is. Mix a ukulele with guitar since I play both. Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But you've never played a ukulele? Like those people that plays those things. Um, oh, you're talking about an instrument, Noah? On the yeah, I don't see. I don't know if I've ever seen one in a guitar store. To be honest with you, of course, I've never looked for one. Um, maybe you can. I mean, you can buy. I've seen it. I shouldn't say guitar stores, but at music stores. I mean, you can buy sitars, you can buy guitars, you can buy bass guitars, you can buy ukuleles. Pretty much any stringed instrument. So I don't know, banjos. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to necessarily buy a ukitar there, um, but I don't know. Um, I'm missing all your comments. No, I'm not able to follow along. I apologize. That's my bad. That's bad on me. I get to talking sometimes and then I lose stuff. You were asking about something if I had any more of those, and I wasn't sure um, what you were referring to, and I think I got confused, and I'm just messing you all up now. Shame on me for that. Bad host, bad host. Yeah, I should be banned from YouTube now for it. The problem I have sometimes when it comes to playing guitar, there's a lot of songs that I remember, but I don't play guitar as often as I used to. I used to play guitar more when I was younger, so now it's picking it up. I still pick it up a lot, but I don't pick it up as much. So like memorizing songs is something that I don't generally do anymore, just because I really haven't felt the need to. So I'm relying on you know ultimateguitar.com and things like that to get the tablature and get the chords and play off of that. Um, you ever do a video play that? Um, don't panic. Are you talking about? If I do a video on don't panic, I actually believe it's still on my SoundCloud. If you go to SoundCloud and you type in Poor West, Porwest, you should be able to find me. And there's a bunch of tracks that are there. And I think Don't Panic is one of them that I have on there. At least I did at one time. I may have taken it down because I don't have the professional version of it. So there are some times when I take something down to put something new up, but it may be there. I don't think I've ever done a video on it on YouTube. See, I don't understand why this is telling me I need to charge my phone when I've got it plugged in. But it's definitely telling me that my phone is about to die. So that is probably my cue to jump off. And that's what I'm going to do. Hey, thanks Noah, and thanks Yukataro for coming on here. Hope to see you guys back. Maybe next time I do one of these, I actually will bring out a guitar and open up Ultimate Guitar, since I'll need it, and clip my fingernails and make sure I'm tuned up and actually play a couple of different pieces of songs. I'm not sure if I'd play a whole song, but I could play around and play some pieces of songs. Might be a lot of fun. So thanks for stopping in, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. I can't get out of here. My phone is acting weird.